And it is time for the hot topic of the hour. President Trump pausing strikes on Iran for a third straight night, giving diplomatic efforts more time while the U.S. works to maintain control of the Strait of Hormuz. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu traveling to Washington to meet with President Trump tomorrow. Talks could determine whether Israel joins the renewed strikes on Iran. Netanyahu speaking with Maria yesterday on Sunday Morning Futures, warning Iran of the consequences should any new strike hit Israel. Watch.
As far as the nuclear program, we constantly exchange information. Our intel services and yours are working so close together that it's not that I'm going to present new information, but I think it's a good thing to have the opportunity to sit with our good friend President Trump and to hear what he has in mind, because I think in many ways it's his decision. But let me say one thing, and I think I should say it very, very clearly. If Iran attacks Israel, either directly or through proxies, either with ballistic missiles or UAVs or killer drones, it will make a terrible mistake, because our response, Israel's response, will be very, very forceful.
Netanyahu also responding to New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani's threats to arrest him, accusing the mayor of promoting division through anti-Israel rhetoric. Watch.
The International Criminal Court issued arrest warrants for you and your former defense minister for genocide. What is your response to this?
The one who promoted that was the ICC, the International Criminal Court prosecutor, who has since been completely exposed as a criminal. He himself was accused, was going to face charges of sexual harassment by 2 women. He knew that. And on the day that he was supposed to visit Israel, he canceled everything, called a news conference, and accused me and the former defense minister of war crimes. The mayor of New York is basing himself on this criminal's bogus charges. That's what he's using, and look at what he's doing. He's fomenting hate. He's supposed to be the mayor of all New Yorkers, Jews, Christians, Muslims, everyone. But he's trying to turn one group against the other, and he's foisting hate and fear.
And this follows the stabbing of a Jewish man outside of a Manhattan synagogue one day after Mamdani's remarks about Netanyahu. The suspect reportedly stabbed the victim with a screwdriver while shouting Allahu Akbar. A second man was also attacked and injured the same day. The Jewish victim had recently moved from New York City to Florida, reportedly because of the mayor's anti-Israel stance and growing anti-Semitism in this city. 1 million Jewish New Yorkers right now are facing increasing threats. Paula, your reaction?
Yeah, exactly that. Mamdani is focused on Netanyahu, a foreign leader that's not living right here in New York City and can't focus on the problems happening right here. To him, I say, let's focus on getting crime down. Let's focus on making the city livable again. Let's make people that don't want to move to Florida want to stay in New York, but instead he's making blanket statements, trying to be performative at the international front. That's my biggest concern here as a young person living in the city. Why is he focusing on that when there's problems right here in the city he should be focusing on?
You know, in all of this, Ryan, as the Iranians, whether it's the supreme leader or the foreign minister there, have made these comments that they're still going to support Hezbollah, which is a problem for the Israelis, and that's something that Benjamin Netanyahu talked to Maria about. Yep. But on the other side of this is the market story, because basically there's reporting out there by the Journal this morning that we are seeing a depletion of munitions, and that is a concern from Dan Kane over at the Pentagon. Your reaction to that? Because the defense sector, can the defense sector get in here and really resupply our depleted munitions?
Well, there's a reason they're asking for another something like 50 billion plus, right, to restock what we've actually taken down in terms of armament. So I think, you know, that from a defense perspective, if you're investing in defense stocks, I think it's a great time to do that, because, you know, not only in the U.S. do we need to replenish our stocks, but if you look around the world globally now, all those, you know, Europe, which was not spending on their defense, is now bumping up their defense budgets. So demand for defense is going to go up astronomically over the course of the next couple of years. So I'm very, very bullish on that sector.
Yeah, and except for Boeing, who reports earnings this week, I saw some red arrows across the board there. Benjamin Netanyahu also telling Maria he's still planning to attend the UN General Assembly in September. He is vowing to speak the truth, despite the threats from Mamdani. Here he is with a warning to Democrats about the growing shift to socialism. Listen.
Are you still going to come to the UN General Assembly? Are you concerned about coming to New York?
No, I'm not concerned, and I certainly intend to do so. I've appeared just about every year, not every year, but almost every year in my prime ministership, unless there are security conditions. But I'll tell you what I'm worried about most. I'm worried about the reasons that leading Democrats have said privately. One of them said it actually publicly, of why they joined the radical fringe. And the reason is that their family has been harassed, that they're afraid of being tailed everywhere and being intimidated by this radical fringe. So I think that's really something that should worry every American.
And Paula, the editorial board of the Journal writes this: globalizing the Intifada in Mamdani's New York, a Jewish man is stabbed in the middle of all of this. That the rhetoric coming from the mayor is what is really threatening Jewish New Yorkers.
Exactly, and this is such a multicultural city. In the sense, I have family that immigrated and came right here to New York. He needs to focus on the best interests of New Yorkers, and doing that is protecting every minority group that's come in here, and not being exclusive to only the ones he wants to protect, because they speak about DEI and protecting these groups, and yet they're not doing that when it comes to other minority groups that they don't like.
Right. Well, we are going to be, of course, following this story and many other things. A lot of news coming out of that interview with Benjamin Netanyahu from Maria. We're just getting started this morning.